breaking mother humping news. Just when you thought the Washington Commanders couldn't get any dumber, they go and do something like this and totally redeem themselves. Thank you, Brian Robinson. Thank you. Because all we need is more bulletin board material. Thank you so much for sticking your foot in your mouth early in this week, because this is to clinch the division and the number 2 spot. He goes on the radio and he says this, and this is Brian Robinson, the running back of the Washington Commanders. We feel like we're a better team. We just literally got to go out there and we got to execute. Okay, go out there and do it. Now, there's nothing wrong with him thinking that they're a better team, but saying it and putting it out there the way he did, it's only going to bite you in the ass. It's only going to help the Eagles and motivate us even more. Brian Robinson better be in for a big day, because if not, he just gave the Eagles extra motivation that we didn't need. We don't need it, but we'll take it anyways, and we'll clinch and lock this division up really, really quick. Thank you so much, Brian Robinson. Another great job by the Washington Commanders. You gotta love it. And this is coming out just as I finished my video to put out today after I went on Big Sil's show. Me and Mark got into it. I shouldn't have yelled at Mark. I was yelling at Mark. I was a little too wired today, so I have to apologize to Mark, and I'll do that. And I'm sorry about that, but I did double moonwalk his ass. I'm just saying. But I didn't have to yell. Anyways, now let's get this video going. Oh no, we gotta go see Jalen Hurts on the bye week. Another stupid, crappy story on another day that means absolutely nothing, that I give 2 craps about. What I do care about is the number 1 seed. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Kick Dingbat here. It is December. It's a week before Christmas, and all we want is the number 1 seed. I want the bye week. I want the 1 seed. I want to go to the Super Bowl. I want to win the mother humper. But every day we're dealing with some other bullcrap, soap opera related, that has nothing to do with anything, and then usually winds up not being true. Last week it was A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts aren't friends. This week, Jay Glazer reports that Big Dom and Brandon Graham during a bye week had to go see Jalen Hurts and tell him, be nice and be friends with everybody. Get along. You gotta be more relatable to people. And then he took it upon himself and he did it. And I'm like, I don't give a crap. All I care about is that number 1 seed right now. But then it turns out the thing ain't even true, because Brandon Graham writes his Instagram lies. So that's what we get to look forward to after the Eagles double moonwalk the Pittsburgh Steelers' ass. And now we're in a position where we could get the 1 seed. That's what's important. That's what I care about. That's what the team cares about. But we got to talk about this Jay Glazer thing. And we'll talk about it in a second. I don't really want to talk about it, but if I don't talk about it, then I'm going to say, why didn't I talk about it? I should have talked about it because Brandon Graham said it was lies. So anyways, I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope you guys are doing well. Yes, I had a lot of caffeine this morning. But the Eagles did make a move, and it's something we got to talk about. And I think it's might be very, very important. The Eagles signed tight end Kevin Fulch. Not that part. To the practice squad and opened the practice window for defensive end Bryce Huff. That part. Bryce Huff could be back soon. What does this mean for the Eagles? What does this mean for how they're going to approach? That is the question. Because to me, there was a lot of people worried about, was Nolan Smith, what were the Eagles, how are they going to handle not having Bryce Huff, and then you lose Brandon Graham on top of it. Now you can get Bryce Huff back. Do you really want to get him and then just insert him right back in the lineup? Do I really want to do that? Does Mark Holmes want to eat glizzies? Yes, he does, but I don't. Pause, no diddy. I don't want to put Bryce Huff right back in the starting lineup. I don't want him to be starting. He is not going to come in. What I would have him do, I'm not. And here's the other thing. I know they paid him a lot of money, but right now I'm not putting him. I'm not putting him over Jalen Hunt either. All right, Nolan Smith is in. He's staying in. Jalen Hunt will continue to get his snaps. He's going to have to work Bryce Huff from the bottom up, and he's going to have to rotate in, and he's got to be the third guy. And if that means he's not getting a lot of snaps, to me, so be it. I'm glad he's back. We need the depth of the player, but I'm not letting him, take any snaps from Nolan Smith for sure, and I'm definitely not letting him take snaps from Jalen Hunt, because I think Jalen Hunt has to play and has to continue to develop. So we're going to see, and it's going to be interesting to see how that whole thing plays out. Should be interesting, no doubt about it. Like I said, I don't know. I sometimes just get tired of it. I'm old, I guess. I just, last week we're dealing with A.J. Brown and then A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts friendship. And then this week it's, Brandon Graham and, Big Dom had to go talk to Jalen Hurts about being more relatable to the team and stuff like that during a bye week. And then it turns out that it wasn't even true, because Brandon Graham's like lies. So either Brandon Graham is lying, which why would he? He has no reason to. Or this dude got it wrong. I don't know what the big fascination, and this is what gets me the most. Like, why every week is there something like this that comes out trying to either, give others credit for what Jalen Hurts has successfully done, or say that Jalen Hurts is not doing something right. It always seems like it's one or the other. Can't we just say the guy's a good quarterback? He's a winner. He goes out and he wins and he plays hard and the team likes playing with him and he's a good quarterback? Okay, he's not Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. Well, there are only two guys like that in the whole league. But he's a winner. And at the end of his career, he could go back and say, hey, I won this ring, I won that ring. I believe he can. Do the New York Giant fans sit there and say, Eli Manning was, he wasn't as good as Peyton Manning. That's offensive. No, they don't care. They say he won us 2 Super Bowls. I mean, to me, if Jalen Hurts is winning Super Bowls and he's a winner and he's going out and he's winning games and you're winning, 12-plus games every year, what are we talking about here? I'm so sick of it. I feel like Jalen Hurts gets ripped off because he can't just, people just can't give him credit. It's either his fault for something or the reason he's successful is because of everybody else. It's so stupid at this point. I just got to say that to get it off my chest because I just find it annoying at this point, okay? The Eagles are 12-2. They're 12-2, and we should be worrying and focusing on a number 1 seed. We beat Washington this week. You lock up the 2 seed, and you'll also lock up the division. I want to win the division. Let's go. I'm not going to buy an NFC East division shirt. Of course not. But let's get this division locked up, and let's fight for this for this home field advantage. All right, what I'm going to talk about right now, what I'm going to show you right now, this is important. This matters here, okay? This is the Eagles' remaining schedule. All right, you have, we just beat the Steelers, but you have the Commanders, then you have the Cowboys, and then you have the Giants, right? Now, we're in a 3-way tie with the Lions and Minnesota for that 1 seed. We need both these teams to lose one more game. The thing with the Lions, they just lost Montgomery, their running back, plus all their defensive players, so they're hurting. They are banged up. Okay, now their remaining schedule is they're going to play the Bears. Forget that. Forget the Bears. The Bears will let you down. The Bears will screw you. The Bears stink. The hell with the Bears, all right? Then they play the 49ers at San Fran. I don't know that they can lose this game. I don't think they lose that game. Then they play Minnesota. Now, they can lose this game. Detroit can lose this game. Okay, and that would work great for the Eagles only if Minnesota has a loss before they play the Detroit Lions. Because the Detroit Lions and Minnesota, if they both go into the last week of the year playing each other without losing, that means one of those teams is going to be the number 1 seed no matter what. We need both those teams to lose one more game, and we need one of these teams to lose 1 game before they play each other. My thinking, and the best bet I think we have to look at, is that you got to assume the Lions are probably going to beat the Bears and the 49ers. I hope not. I'm rooting against them. But when you look at Minnesota's schedule, and here you see the Lions and Minnesota schedule again. When you look at the Minnesota schedule, now there are 2 games where I think before they play the Lions that are not give me games. They could lose either one of these games. You got at the Seahawks, and then you got versus the Packers. Unfortunately, play the Packers at home, but the Packers are more than capable to go into Minnesota and beat them. And you know what? Seattle is more than capable. I don't know what Geno Smith's health is right now, but they're capable of winning at home against Minnesota, I believe. So I believe the best bet for the Eagles is that the Eagles, having Washington, Dallas, and the Giants, most likely win out. I think the Washington game will be the tough game, but once you get through that, I think it's a breeze. I think Detroit wins the next 2 games, most likely versus Chicago and San Fran. But if you look at Minnesota, it looks like I think Minnesota's going to stumble between either Seattle or Green Bay. I think they stumble and they have their loss. That means they go into that Lions game where they're going to want to win that game for the division. And if the Eagles win out and Minnesota under this situation and Minnesota beats the Lions, the Eagles will get the number 1 seed. We've got a legitimate chance. Now, depending upon, I can't tell you the last time Detroit was on the road. It seems like they play every week at home. But, maybe San Francisco will give them a tough time and they'll wind up winning. Maybe somehow the Chicago Bears will finally put it together. They are at home and it is cold weather. That's a good thing. You never know with division games. I think that the Eagles right now have a decent chance. If you said, what are the chances that the Eagles get the number 1 seed? I would say that I think it's slightly better than Minnesota or Detroit. I would say slightly better, but, it's really a toss-up right now. You need 2 teams to lose instead of 1. And you need one of those teams to lose before they play each other the final week of the year, right? That Atlanta game could come back and totally haunt us, all right? Totally bite us in the ass. But to me, this is the focus. This is what matters. Got to go beat Washington, win the division, and you got to fight for that 1 seed. I think the number 1 seed is important. Number 1, the Eagles have never gone to the Super Bowl without not having home field throughout the playoffs. Okay, that's just history of the team. Number 2, the Eagles had a very, very early bye week. Their bye week was extremely early, and we got a lot of guys banged up that could use a week off. You can't tell me A.J. Brown couldn't use a week off. You couldn't tell me Saquon Barkley couldn't use a week off. You couldn't tell me that Hurts with his finger couldn't use a week off. All these guys could use a week off. It would be very big for us. And on top of that, if you have the number 1 seed, the way the playoff system goes and way you have your championship game, most likely you're playing an NFC championship game versus either Detroit or Minnesota. Well, guess what? Both those teams are dome teams having to come to Philly in cold weather in January. The Eagles, the chances that they go back to the Super Bowl with that number 1 seed, really, really good. All right. I think if they get the number 1 seed, I think it's like 90% chance they go to the Super Bowl. Now, if they don't get the number 1 seed, the Eagles are more than capable of going and beating either one of those teams. By no means do I think if the Eagles don't get the number 1 seed, they can't beat those teams. They can. I just think it makes the path a little bit easier. And I like the idea of getting guys rest. Okay? So it will be interesting. It'll be very interesting. This week we're hearing a lot of like, is this the best Eagles teams that you've ever seen? Is this the best Eagles team you've ever seen? And I've been thinking about that. And the truth is if you took, and I've been watching the Eagles, since the early 80s. But if you go back and you look at all the Eagles teams, I think this could legitimately be the most talented Eagles team across the board. Across the board. And when I say that, I mean offense, defense, special teams, and coaching even. Okay? I think you'd have to put them up there. The only team that you might be able to say, I think, I'm not sure about, is the 2004 Eagles. Because I actually think the 2004 Eagles might be better than the 2017 Eagles. Nothing against the 2017 Eagles. They got it done and they finished it. But I think the Eagles went up against, they went up against a Patriot team that was Tom Brady's prime as they were beginning their dynasty run, which they won like 3 in a row. So I think all around this would be that probably the Eagles' best team ever. However, when people ask, is this the Eagles' best defense? No. And it's not even close. 91 Eagles defense is the greatest defense I've ever seen in football out of every team any year. The only reason they don't get the accolades is because they didn't win it all. If they would have won it all, they would be regarded as the best defense to ever play. This was a team, and it wasn't just 91, but it was a few years in a row where every year they were number one in every category. Defensively, they were number one against the pass, number one against the run, number one against points. One of the top teams in sacks. They were just dominant. And the year that 91, they had no offense. I mean, Cunningham gets hurt. All their back, McMahon gets hurt. They had like Jeff Kemp playing quarterback. They had no names. And this defense will go on the field for like 40. The defense would be on the field for like 40 minutes, give up 9 points. Like if they had any offense whatsoever. That's the most dominant defense I've ever seen in football in general. Now, in terms of this team this year, I think complete-wise, with offense, defense, special teams all together, it could be. But they're gonna have to go to the Super Bowl. They go to the Super Bowl, it definitely is. They win the Super Bowl, then without question. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how I vision, baby. We're all just living in it.
No. Yeah, dude,
We get our weapons! Oh, this is the greatest night of my life!
So, just a quick update. If you haven't, hit that like. Make sure you subscribe. They're up to their old things again. It's been really, really bad. I'm getting a lot of people saying that they don't get notifications. My stuff doesn't show up in their feed. And they manually have to go in and type my name up. And even when they type my name up, like me on other channels comes up before my stuff. I've been paying a big price since November 5th, since right before November 5th. So it's been a really throttled year, as we could say. You can only be bent over for so long. But my hope is it's going to change soon, because there are some things coming. And if it happens, that's supposed to happen. When it happens, if it should, no more being throttled. Denzel Washington out. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us!